In the name of Allah, who is most merciful and most beneficent. Welcome to Dr. Hassan Mathematics channel. Today is my second lecture of numerical analysis. In the first lecture, we will discuss about bisection method, its geometrical interpretation, and one example of algebraic equation. In second lecture, we will discuss other examples of exponential and logarithm to find its approximate value using bisection method. Let's start lecture is find the root of f of x is equal to x e to power x minus 1 is equal to 0 using bisection method up to 3 decimal places. This equation is a function exponential because e to power x is involved. Its approximate value is found up to 3 decimal places. First we set calculator up to 3 decimal places. Press mode 3 times. Press 1 fix and 0 to 9. It's find up to 3 decimal places. We will press 3. Its calculator is fixed about to 3 decimal places. And solve it. Let f of x is equal to x e to power x minus 1 is equal to 0. First we find the root. Put f x is equal to 0 gives us minus 1. Put x is equal to 1 gives us positive value. F of 0 is negative value, f of 1 is positive value. Let a is equal to 0, it's mean negative, and b is equal to 1, it's mean positive. First approximation is x1 a plus b divided 2. Putting values of a and b, a is 0 and b is 1, is 1.1 by 2, it's divided, and final answer is 0.5. 0.5 is put into f of x is equal to x e to power x minus 1. Value of x put into and then solve it. Negative 0.176. Then solve it. 0.5 multiply, press shift, natural log e to power x, and its power is x. Value of x is 0.5 minus 1 is equal to, its answer is negative 0.176. This method is found using calculator. So root lies between b and x1 because x1 is negative value and b is positive. Second approximation is x2 x1 plus b. Putting value of x1 is 0.5 and b is 1 and divided to, its answer is 0.75. These put into equation. F of x e to power x minus 1 is equal to 0. This value of x is put in equation and will find 0.588 using calculator. Its value is positive, so root lies between x1 and x2 because x1 is negative and x2 is positive. Third approximation is x3 x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Putting value of x1 and x2 divided 2, its final answer is 0.625, and these 0.625 put into, we will check sign. F of x is equal to x e to power x minus 1. Putting value of x and using calculator find its 0.168, its positive value. So root lies between x1 and x3. x1 is positive and x1 is negative root, and x3 is positive. Fourth approximation is similarly x1 plus x3 divided by 2. Putting values and then solve it. 0.568. These values of x put into equation again. F of x x e की power x minus 1 is equal to 0. Then solve it, its value is negative. So root lies between x1 and x4. x3 is positive and x4 is negative. When sign is changed, root is lies. Fifth approximation is x5 x3 plus x4 divided by 2. Putting values of x3 is 0.25 and x4 is 0.563. Divided by 2, its values is 0.594. These values of x put into again equation f of x is equal to x e की power x minus 1 is equal to 0, and we'll get final answer is 0.076. It gives us positive value. So root lies between x4 and x5. x4 is negative and x5 is positive. Sixth approximation is x4 plus x5 divided by 2. Putting values of x4 is 0.563 and x5 is 0.94. Divided by 2, 0.579 its answer. These values of x6 put into f of x e की power x minus 1 is equal to 0, and we'll get final answer using calculator 0.033. It's positive answer. Seventh approximation, so root lies between x4 and x6. x4 is negative and x6 is positive. x5 is again positive, so root lies when two values opposite. x6 is positive, x5 is positive, x4 is negative. Root lies between x4 negative and x6 is positive. Seventh approximation, similarly, x4 plus x is divided by 2, putting values and then solve it, 0.571. These put into x7 value is f of x e की power x minus 1 is equal to 0, and then solve it. So root lies between x4th and x7 because x7 is positive, x6 is positive, x5th is positive, and x4th is negative. Root lies between x4th and x7. Eighth approximation is x4 plus x7 divided by 2. Putting values and then solve it, 0.567, and these values put into equation f of x e की power x minus 1 is equal to 0, and then solve it. 0, its answer is 0, mean it's positive because 0 is neutral. So root lies between x4 and x8. x4 is negative and x8 is positive value. Ninth approximation is x4 plus x8 divided by 2. Its values of x4 and its values is x8 divided by 2. Its answer is 0.565, and these values put into f of x e की power x minus 1 because we will check its positive or negative sign, and then solve it using calculator. Its answer is negative 0.006. So root lies between x8 and x9 because x8 is positive value and x9 is negative value. 10th approximation is x8 plus x9 divided by 2, putting values and then solve it, 0.566 answer. These values put into f of x e की power x minus 1 is equal to 0, and then solve it. Its again value is negative 0.003. So root lies between x8 and x10. x8 is positive value and x10 is negative value. And 11th approximation is x8 plus x10 divided by 2, putting values and solve it. Its answer is 0.567. These values put into f of x e की power x e की power x minus 1 is equal to 0 and then solve it. Its answer is 0. So consider 0 is positive because 0 is neutral. So root lies between x10 and x11. 12th approximation is x12 is equal to x10 plus x11 divided by 2, putting values x10 and x11 and adding, then solve it. 0.567. So approximation 12th and approximation 11th is answer is same up to 3 decimal places. In the example, we will require find the answer up to 3 decimal places. These process till until when last two approximation are same. In this example, last two approximation x11th and x12th, its answer is same 0.567 and 0.567. Then stop. So x11th and x12th approximation values are same up to 3 decimal places. 0.567 is the required root of f of x is equal to x e की power x minus 1 is equal to 0. And then second example is determine the root of given equation 2x minus log x minus 7 is equal to 0 using bisection method and correct up to 2 decimal places. In the last example, find answer 3 decimal places and its answer is find up to 2 decimal places. When last two approximation answer is same, then process continue. Let f of x is equal to 2x minus log x minus 7 is equal to 0. Put value of x is 0, we will get undefined. And value of x is putting 1, we will negative minus 5, and x2 is put 2, its value is negative again, and put x is equal to 3 in this equation, and its again value is negative, and put values of x is equal to 4, its values is positive. These values putting when sign is changed. Sign is changed 3 and 4th because 3 is values minus 1.477 and 4th is value positive. So root lies between 3 and 4th because sign is changed. F of 3 is negative and f of 4 is positive. Let a is equal to 3, it's positive. A is equal to 3, it's negative. And let b is equal to 4, it's positive value. First approximation is by using calculator. X1 is equal to a plus b divided by 2. Value of a is 3 and b is 4. 3 plus 4 is 7 by 2. Its answer is 3.5. These put into values of x1 in this equation and then solve it. Its answer is negative 0.544. Its values is negative. So root lies between x1 and b because x1 is negative and b is positive. Second approximation is x2 x1 plus b divided by 2. X1 is value 3.5 and b is 4 divided by 2. Its answer is 3.75. These values put into equation. In this equation, f of x is equal to 2x minus log x minus 7 is equal to 0, and its again values is negative 0.074. Its value is negative, so root lies between x2 and b because x2 is positive, x2 is negative value, and x and b is positive value. Third approximation is x3 is equal to x2 plus b divided by 2, putting values x2 and b and Final answer is 3.875. These values put into equation f of x is equal to 2x minus log x minus 7 is equal to 0, and values of x is putting and then solve it 0.162. Its answer is positive, so root lies between x2 and x3 because x2 is negative and x3 is positive. Fourth approximation is x2 plus x3 divided by 2. Putting values of x2 3.75 and x3 is 3.875 divided by 2. Its answer is 3.813. These values put into equation. Again f of x is equal to 2x minus log x minus 7. Values of x put and then solve it. Its answer is positive 0.045. Its answer is positive, so root lies between x2 and x4 because x4 is positive and x2 is negative. Fifth approximation is x2 plus x4 divided by 2 and then solve it. Its answer is 3.782. These values put into again equation f of x is equal to 2x minus log x minus 7 is equal to 0. Value of x putting in this equation and then solve it. Again negative value, negative 0.014. Its value is negative, so root lies between x4 and x5 because x5 is negative and x4 is positive. Sixth approximation is x4 plus x5 divided by 2. Putting values of x4 and x5 then solve it. Its answer is 3.798. These values put into again equation f of x is equal to 2x minus log x minus 7 is equal to 0. And then its value is positive 0.016. So root lies between x5 and x6 because x5 is negative value and x6 is positive value. Seventh approximation is between x5 plus x6 divided by 2. Putting values of x5 and x6 divided by 2. Its answer is 3.79. Seventh approximation and sixth approximation answer is same up to 2 decimal places, 3.79, and seventh approximation answer is 3.79. We will required answer up to 2 decimal places, so x6 and x7 approximation are same, so the root is 3.79 up to 2 decimal places is required. Thank you. We will meet in the next lecture.